1, 2, 3. Chicago Dance Theatre Ensemble is a multidisciplinary performing arts ensemble dedicated to creating performance with a purpose on stage and in the classroom. For over 15 years now, we have been dedicated to creating a positive change through the arts in the Chicagoland area. But have you ever wondered where it all began? When I was a little girl, I stumbled into a Milwaukee Park District building one time, and I saw a group of girls dancing, and I knew that this is where I wanted to be. From a very young age, I used to put on performances for my grandmother at her house, and of course I charged admission. And I remember being about 10 years old and lying in my bed when I should be sleeping and thinking to myself that someday I wanted to start an organization where we could do performance work and have a school to teach children and adults. Well, I guess that dream has come true. But have you ever wondered how Chicago Dance Theatre Ensemble got started? Well, here's the story. The same year that Chicago Dance Theatre Ensemble was founded, we began our very first arts education program. Our first summer camp was called 7 Stories Under 7 Feet Tall in honor of all the kids that we worked with. This was an opportunity to teach theater, dance, and visual art to the kids. Now, 15 years later, we work with over 5,000 kids in the Chicagoland area. We work in schools, we work in community centers, we work through the Chicago Park District every summer doing our Tales from Around the World show. To me, getting a chance to teach children is so important. What I love about it is that not only are we teaching the arts of dance, theater, and visual art and music, but we are also focusing on teaching social emotional learning with the kids, which in this day and age is so important. And we're also bringing in the math, the science, the literacy, and together they create this triangle, which is what Chicago Dance Theatre's arts education program is all about. One of my favorite stories that I received from a kid in one of our dance programs was that he said that when he was on stage with all the lights and the costume and everything, it made him feel like he was special and that he finally had something to say, that people would listen. And to me, one of the greatest parts about teaching is knowing that I can create a positive change in this world simply by teaching a child dance, theater, and visual art.
Welcome to the city. Home of the brave. Sing, child.
Chicago Dance Theatre Ensemble's work is based in a social justice movement. And why is that? Well, because my art changed. Even though I started as a ballerina, when I was in college, I fell in love with the wrong person. And I ended up in a dating violence relationship in which I was also raped. And this changed the course of my life. Over the years, what I have seen, coming to terms with what has happened to me and with the trauma that occurred, is that art really has the ability to change and to heal people. We have created a program called Unraveling Veterans, which was based on my friend Teresa Blake's brother who passed away. He committed suicide 6 months after he returned from Iraq. One of the most moving moments that I ever had was doing the monologue for Unraveling Bill, and after I left the stage, a man pulled me aside, and he simply said, "Thank you." And I said, "You're welcome." He said, "No, really, thank you, because your performance finally gave me the words to how I was feeling, because I really wanted to end my life. And he said that he is now getting help, but he just didn't have the words to describe how he was feeling. And this is what happens with Chicago Dancetheatre Ensemble's work. Whether it was a piece about gun and gang violence in the city of Chicago by Nabi Kelly called Extigony, or whether it was Still Small Voices talking about Palestine and Israel and how the two families actually do have much in common. Mirrors and Touch, which was based on the poetry of Rumi that examined the ego and the id. And over these years of creating this performance work, something that people come to expect from seeing us is that they can have a discussion after the performance. And to me, that is one of the ways that art changes the world. This whole season this year is dedicated to the woman's voice. And the reason why we are doing that is because even though women make up 50% of our world, our voices are still silenced every year. And to me, this has got to change. This March, we will be debuting a piece called Bindis and Bruises, written by Priya Narayan. And the piece deals with domestic and dating violence in the Indian community, but it will be a multiracial cast to show that it honestly happens to everyone, and it is about joining forces together to give women a voice. With Chicago Dancetheatre Ensemble being a multidisciplinary performing arts ensemble, our performances are sometimes dance-orientated, and sometimes they are theater-orientated, and sometimes they are a mix of both. In our festival work, a lot of times you will come and you will see a dance performance, you will see a theater performance, and you'll see a mix of it. And to me, that is one of the greatest parts about Chicago Dancetheatre Ensemble, is that maybe somebody who traditionally goes and sees a dance performance will then go and see a theater performance because they liked an act that was in one of our festivals. And maybe a theater person will go see a dance concert. It is important to me at Chicago Dancetheatre Ensemble to bring artists of all different backgrounds together to create art that changes the world. And all of the artists who work with us have the ability to make their voice heard. I believe, honestly, that everybody in this world has the ability to change the world, but it starts with having a voice. And that voice can create change. It happens one person, one story at a time. And that might be by coming to see a show, it might be talking about a show, it might be through supporting us, it might be by teaching in the classroom. Everybody has the ability to change the world. It is important for us to use our voice to create positive change in this world. I want to say thank you to all the wonderful people who have supported Chicago Dancetheatre Ensemble for the last 15 years. It's truly been an amazing journey, and I hope that you will be with us for another 15 years.